In one of the greatest unsolved aviation mysteries of our time, Malaysia flight MH370 vanished into thin air, leaving the world in shock and disbelief.
For years, investigators have combed the depths of the ocean and scrutinized every piece of evidence, desperate to uncover the truth behind the enigmatic disappearance.
But what if the answers we seek lie hidden in a myriad of new findings and cutting-edge theories?
Today we embark on a riveting journey, unveiling some groundbreaking discoveries and mind-bending theories that might shed light on the dark secrets of the Malaysia flight MH370 tragedy.
The unfortunate flight, often known as MH370, was a planned international passenger flight operated by Malaysian Airlines. Its destination was the bustling city of Beijing, the capital of China, with over 200 passengers on board, ready to either embrace their familiar homeland or embark on the exciting exploration of a foreign land.
Specifically, there were 227 passengers from 14 different countries and 12 Malaysian crew members, a diverse group of people traveling across vast oceans and lands on March 8, 2014.
MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur International Airport, situated in Malaysia's busy capital city, at the stroke of midnight. It was a routine flight, anticipated to cover a journey of approximately 5,570 kilometers over about 5 hours and 34 minutes to Beijing.
This journey unexpectedly captured the world's attention.
Pilots captains Ahari Ahmed Shah and First Officer Farooq Abdul Hamid piloted the advanced Boeing 777-200er aircraft, known for its safety and advanced technology, favored by many airlines for long-haul flights. Everything seemed normal as MH370 ascended into the night sky with passengers settling in.
However, it vanished from radar screens during its scheduled journey from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing on March 8, 2014, leaving a baffling mystery.
Inside the cockpit, Captain Zahari and First Officer Farooq were experienced professionals responsible for their passengers' safety.
It was approximately 1:01 Malaysian Standard Time when the aircraft, flying at an altitude of 35,000 feet, transmitted its regular half-hourly data report through the aircraft communications addressing and reporting system. Everything appeared routine in the report, with no signs of trouble on board.
At around 1:07 a.m., the ACARS transmitted its final message indicating that all systems were operating normally. The next update was expected at 1:37 a.m., but sadly, it never came.
The most chilling moment happened around 1:19 a.m. when the aircraft was about to enter Vietnamese airspace.
The cockpit communicated with the air traffic controller in Kuala Lumpur, saying "Good night, Malaysia 370.
This phrase was routine, signaling the handover from one control center to another. But this time the expected communication from the new center never arrived. Lately, scientists have made some really shocking new discoveries and theories about the unfortunate Flight 370 incident.
These findings are about to change our understanding of the disaster in a big way, providing deep insights into what happened.
Cryptic calls and signals in the intriguing case of MH370. After the plane vanished from radar, it astonishingly managed to intermittently communicate with a stationary satellite located in the Indian Ocean for a continuous 6-hour period. This satellite belonged to a company called Inmarsat, based in London. This intriguing communication indicates that the plane didn't face a sudden catastrophic event. Instead, it seems to have continued flying at a high speed and altitude during those 6 hours.
This was possible because certain communication systems on board, like passenger equipment, cockpit technology, and automated maintenance reports, had been deliberately switched off or disconnected.
The interaction with the Inmarsat satellite was like faint whispers of communication. Partners like the satellite's orbit, tilt, and temperature can also influence the signals they transmit, which can leave noticeable marks on the data.
The elusive black boxes hunt.
The information from satellites indicated something remarkable. The plane had likely continued flying for several hours even after it had gone silent.
Eventually, Malaysian officials admitted that this report was indeed accurate.
Malaysia's government was known for its secretive and untrustworthy behavior during the investigation of the missing plane. This raised suspicions, especially given the accusations of corruption surrounding the government in the region.
The situation became chaotic for accident investigators from Europe, Australia, and the United States.
They faced obstacles due to withheld information and initial misguided search efforts in the South China Sea. This led to the unfortunate result of not finding any floating debris.
Had the Malaysians been transparent from the start, the discovery of debris could have helped pinpoint the plane's general location, potentially leading to the recovery of its black boxes.
The search for these black boxes eventually led to a distant part of the ocean, but the ocean itself is vast. Locating similar black boxes from a previous crash, Air France Flight 447, took 2 years.
Despite having a good idea of where to look, it still took nearly 2 months of unsuccessful efforts before the search shifted to the deeper sections of the ocean.
The surface search concluded in April 2014, officially under Malaysian jurisdiction. However, their capabilities were limited for a deep-sea search and recovery operation. Thankfully, Australia, being a responsible global actor, stepped in. They took the lead in the search areas identified by satellite data. The region's extreme depth and unexplored nature presented a unique challenge. Mapping the underwater terrain accurately was the first step. Only then could specialized sonar vehicles be safely towed many miles beneath the ocean's surface.
The intentional flight's secrets. Another interesting detail suggests that this event might not have been a simple accident.
The unusual path the flight took without any electronic communication is not easily explained by common reasons like technical problems or human mistakes.
Regular explanations, which include things like computer errors, problems with control systems, environmental issues like ice lightning or bird strikes, and even very rare events like meteorites or volcanic ash, struggle to make sense of the flight's complex route.
Surprisingly, the various possible mechanical and human-related issues, from sensors to radio equipment, and from instruments to electrical systems, don't fully explain the intentional nature of the flight's deviation from its course.
Even scenarios involving things like fire smoke, sudden loss of cabin pressure, explosions in the cargo area, or the pilot being unable to fly the plane don't reveal the full story behind this puzzling event.
The fact that there are no previous incidents of confused pilots, medical emergencies, or external threats like bombs or acts of war makes the mystery even more intriguing.
In Boulder, Colorado, Mike, an electrical engineer and an esteemed member of an independent group, devotedly delved into radar data concerning an airplane. He formed a firm belief that during a turn the aircraft ascended to a height of 40,000 feet, which was close to its maximum capacity.
Such a maneuver would have subjected the passengers to strong G-forces, pushing them back into their seats.
Mike proposed a theory that this climb was deliberate and intended to rapidly depressurize the plane, leading to the swift incapacitation and unfortunate demise of everyone on board.
His hypothesis suggested that this intentional depressurization might have been a method to control any potential unruly behavior during the lengthy flight. The depressurization's effects would have gone unnoticed in the cabin if it weren't for the sudden appearance of drop-down oxygen masks designed for emergency situations. However, these masks were only effective for up to 15 minutes at altitudes below 13,000 feet.
The pilot was a very strong pilot. However, it is challenging to accept the possibility of the co-pilot's involvement in the MH370 incident. He was described as a young, optimistic individual eagerly anticipating his upcoming marriage. No records suggest any personal conflicts or doubts about his descent into depression.
On the contrary, he was flying the grand Boeing 777 in a country where the national airline and its pilots were held in high esteem.
Unmasking Captain Zahari. Amidst growing concerns, a spotlight has been cast on Captain Zahari, a figure depicted in official accounts as an exemplary pilot and a composed family man who took pleasure in engaging with flight simulators.
While his family projects this image, glaring signals of distress have been seemingly brushed aside.
Law enforcement uncovered aspects of Zahari's life that warranted a more thorough examination, yet the subsequent findings proved insufficient.
The assessment of Zahari's ability to manage work-related pressure yielded a positive rating, and there was no prior evidence of indifference, unease, or edginess.
His routine interpersonal connections and familial challenges exhibited no noteworthy alterations.
No behavioral cues indicated any retreat from social interactions, shifts in routines, or modifications in interests.
A review of his demeanor on the day of the flight, along with the 3 flights preceding it, captured by airport CCTV recordings, depicted Zahari as unwavering, well-groomed, and impeccably attired.
His customary traits encompassing his stance, facial expressions and gestures remained unaltered.
Nevertheless, the official report appears to be either disconnected or conflicting with what was known about Zahari, given the disconcerting hints that were disregarded.
His existence was shrouded in desolation and solitude. The departure of his wife plunged him into a state of isolation, with prolonged hours spent in solitude as he eagerly awaited the intervals between flights to elapse. He nurtured affection for a married woman with a family, and his fixation extended to 2 young online models he encountered on social media.
His efforts to establish a connection with them went unanswered, and a few of his remarks ventured into inappropriate territory.
Zahari's life underwent a profound transformation, distancing him from the once steady and secure existence he had known.
His excessive indulgence in social media might have exacerbated his seclusion, with experts positing a diagnosis of clinical depression.
A noteworthy discovery emerged from an examination of his flight simulator, with the FBI identifying a flight trajectory bearing resemblance to that of MH370.
Curiously, Malaysian investigators accorded this piece of evidence minimal significance despite its potential implications.
In light of these intricate details, a broader understanding of Captain Zahari's circumstances begins to emerge, suggesting a multifaceted struggle that extends beyond the veneer of his public portrayal.
In a fascinating twist on the mystery of the missing Flight 370, there's another theory that challenges the belief that the plane crashed and disappeared in the Indian Ocean.
According to this theory, some people argue that the plane might not have sunk at all. The basis for this idea comes from reports by several relatives of the passengers who claim to have heard ringing tones coming from their loved ones' phones for up to 4 days after the supposed crash.
Remarkably, 19 families have shared such experiences, shedding light on this intriguing phenomenon.
One particularly poignant example that captured attention was a family member demonstrating on Chinese television that he could still call his deceased brother's phone and it would ring. This emotional display added weight to the ringtone theory.
A telecommunications expert named Paul Franks has thrown his support behind this theory, strongly believing that if the plane had indeed crashed into the ocean, the phones wouldn't have continued to function and ring for such an extended period.
Franks shared his views on Reddit, highlighting that when a phone is submerged, especially in seawater, its survival and functionality are highly unlikely. The two of you were confirmed to belong to the missing aircraft.
As a result, doubts persisted about the theory of an ocean crash.
Undeterred, Ian, along with his brother Jackie, decided to venture into the jungle and explore their discovery. However, their journey was not without challenges, and their guides were forced to turn back due to treacherous terrain.
Nonetheless, the brothers remained steadfast in their belief about the finding.
Aviation expert Lieutenant Tim McMillan observed that the object indeed resembled an aeroplane, but it appeared too small to be a Boeing 777, which was the model of MH370.
Ultimately, experts verified that the wreckage was not from MH370, but belonged to a different plane altogether.
Despite this setback, Ian and Jackie maintain their faith in the discovery and hope to try again when they have sufficient funds for further exploration.
Hidden passenger and mysterious cargo. Amidst the investigations, another intriguing notion suggests a passenger may have hijacked the aircraft, slipping on board unnoticed.
This enigmatic concept gained traction as investigators delved into the flight's vanishing act.
Their scrutiny revealed a puzzling addition to the flight list: a mysterious cargo weighing 14 stone, equivalent to a hefty 196 pounds.
Mr. Jaslin, who held a personal stake with his wife and children on board, disclosed that French investigators divulged the startling cargo revelation in a comprehensive report encompassing passengers and their belongings.
Adding another layer to the puzzle, Mr. Waterloo, who aligns with the belief of intentional tampering, cited the French newspaper Le Parisien's disclosure of an overloaded container on the flight.
Yet the reasons behind this perplexing occurrence remain shrouded in ambiguity.
Further unraveling the mystery, it came to light that an unattributed load of 89 kilograms was surreptitiously incorporated into the flight list post-takeoff.
Notably, the container, for reasons unclear, experienced an excess load beyond permissible limits.
The motives behind these actions, whether resulting from incompetence or manipulation, continue to elude us, casting a veil of uncertainty over the situation.
As inquiries proceed, Malaysians will inevitably confront these baffling questions.
Aviation security expert Tim Termini lends weight to the notion of a hijacking, asserting that considerable support underscores this possibility.
Within this framework, four conceivable scenarios emerge.
The hijacking could have been orchestrated by a crew member, a passenger, an uncommon stowaway, or even the remote takeover of the aircraft's electrical systems.
However, Philippa Baum, a notable figure in aviation security, struck a chord of caution. She emphasized the reluctance of officials to entertain the notion of a stowaway.
Rogue missiles or miscommunication.
Another line of thought proposes the possibility of it being shot down during a joint military training exercise between Thailand and the U.S. in the South China Sea, which coincided with the plane's disappearance.
The idea is that miscommunication, technical issues, or human error might have caused this unfortunate event.
A former French airline director, Marc Tougain, claimed he saw satellite images of unidentified aircraft in the region during the time of MH370's vanishing act.
He also reported receiving threats urging him to abandon this theory, indicating a potential case of mistaken identity.
Another scenario speculates that MH370 was unintentionally targeted by a country's military, thinking it was a hostile or suspicious aircraft. This confusion could have arisen due to the plane deviating from its intended path, losing communication, or resembling another aircraft.
Nigel Cawthorne, a British author, even suggested that U.S. TIE fighters might have taken down MH370, fearing it was heading towards their military base in Diego Garcia Island, Indian Ocean.
Cawthorne also pondered whether sensitive cargo or personnel on board attracted unwarranted attention or hostility.
This elaborate plan might involve creating a diversion blaming another country, or clandestinely acquiring valuable items from the aircraft.
As we delve deeper into this perplexing mystery, the theories and questions continue to multiply.
Could the passengers and crew have been victims of an elaborate scheme, or did they meet a more tragic fate?
Unanswered radar questions. One of the lingering mysteries surrounding the MH370 disappearance is the behavior of radar systems.
Did radar operators miss crucial information, or were there deliberate attempts to evade detection?
The aircraft's transponder, which communicates with radar systems, was intentionally disabled shortly after takeoff.
This action made it much harder for radar systems to track the plane's movements.
It's a highly unusual move, raising suspicions about the intent behind such an act.
The unexplained turn. MH370's inexplicable turn off its intended flight path remains one of the most baffling aspects of the case.
Why would the plane suddenly change course, heading in a different direction without any apparent explanation?
This turn occurred at a point known as the IGARI waypoint, a spot where planes typically change course during this flight route.
The fact that it happened here has led many to believe it was a deliberate act, rather than a mechanical failure.
The mysterious endpoint. The vanishing plane's possible endpoint, sometimes referred to as the seventh arc, is another aspect that continues to baffle investigators.
Based on satellite data, experts believe the plane may have ended its journey in a remote part of the southern Indian Ocean.
However, the vastness of this area and the extreme depths of the ocean floor make locating the wreckage incredibly challenging.
To this day, the main wreckage has not been found.
Mysterious pings in the weeks following the plane's disappearance. There were reports of mysterious acoustic signals or pings detected in the southern Indian Ocean.
These pings were initially seen as a potential breakthrough, possibly coming from the plane's black box.
However, extensive searches in the area failed to locate the source of these signals, leaving experts puzzled.
The ghost flight theory. Some experts and investigators have proposed the ghost flight theory.
This theory suggests that the plane continued to fly on autopilot after the disappearance of the crew and passengers.
In this scenario, the plane would have eventually run out of fuel and crashed into the ocean.
This theory could explain the lack of communication and the plane's ultimate location, but it still leaves many questions unanswered.
The Diego Garcia theory. One theory suggests that the plane may have been intentionally flown towards the U.S. military base on Diego Garcia, a remote island in the Indian Ocean.
Proponents of this theory point to radar data that they believe shows the plane heading in that direction.
However, both the US and Malaysian governments have denied any involvement or knowledge of such an incident.
The cyber hijacking theory. Some experts have proposed the possibility of cyber hijacking.
In this scenario, hackers could have gained control of the plane's systems, redirecting it to an unknown location.
While this theory raises concerns about aviation security, there is limited concrete evidence to support it.
The unsolved mystery. The most prominent and enduring aspect of the MH370 case is that it remains unsolved.
Despite years of investigation search efforts and the collection of various pieces of debris, the true fate of MH370 and the reasons behind its disappearance remain a mystery.
Families of the victims, aviation experts, and the world at large continue to seek answers and closure.
As time goes on, new theories and discoveries may shed light on this enigmatic aviation mystery.
And so the story of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 endures is one of the greatest aviation mysteries of our time, leaving us with more questions than answers.
As we conclude our exploration of the unsolved aviation mysteries surrounding Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370, one thing remains clear: this tragic incident has left an indelible mark on the world of aviation.
From the mysterious disappearance to the countless theories and unanswered questions, MH370 continues to captivate our imagination and fuel our curiosity.
As technology advances and new information emerges, we can only hope that one day we will uncover the truth behind this enigma.
Until then, the story of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 will remain a haunting reminder of the mysteries that still linger in the skies.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through the world of aviation mysteries.
Stay tuned for more intriguing stories and investigations in the world of unsolved mysteries.
Goodbye for now, and remember to keep looking up at the skies where countless stories are yet to be told.
We hope you enjoy our talkradio.ca broadcasts. We are a not-for-profit service providing up-to-date news in an unbiased journalistic fashion. Please subscribe and like to make sure we reach our audience. You might want to play an entire playlist, produced each day on our best content. These stories are ideal on long road trips or as a daily current events update during morning coffee. Enjoy!